Feeling followed? Top 10 signs you're not alone. Ever had that eerie feeling that someone might be following you? Like someone's eyes are on your back watching your every move? It's a spine-chilling thought, and while it's easy to dismiss it as paranoia, sometimes it's crucial to trust your gut. We're diving deep into the top 10 signs someone might be following you. Remember, your safety is paramount, and being aware of your surroundings is the first step to staying safe. Let's get started. Deja vu, or repeated encounters. Have you ever bumped into the same person multiple times in a day? Maybe at the coffee shop, then again at the grocery store, and finally in the parking lot near your work? Now, coincidences happen, but when these encounters become frequent and seemingly too random, it's time to pay attention. It could be entirely innocent, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Start noticing details. Is it the same person, or are they driving the same car? Are they always lurking in the background, pretending to be occupied? These repeated encounters, especially in places you frequent, could be a sign that someone is intentionally tracking your movements. Don't be afraid to change your routine. If you usually take the same route to work, try a different one. If you frequent a particular coffee shop, explore other options. Breaking patterns can make it harder for someone to predict your whereabouts, and remember, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Matching pace. Are they keeping up with you? Imagine this. You're walking down a quiet street, and you notice someone behind you. You slow down and they slow down too. You speed up and they match your pace. Coincidence? Maybe. A cause for concern? Definitely. When someone consistently mirrors your pace, whether walking, running, or even driving, it's a major red flag. Think about it. It's not normal behavior to constantly adjust your speed to match a stranger's. Pay close attention to how they react to your movements. Do they seem to be deliberately staying a certain distance away, like they're trying not to be noticed? Do they quickly change direction if you turn around to look at them directly? If you feel threatened, don't hesitate to call 911 or honk your horn to attract attention. Out of place and time. The unusual appearances. We all have our routines, the places we frequent, the events we attend, the people we interact with. But what happens when someone starts popping up in these familiar spaces without a logical explanation? It could be a casual acquaintance suddenly showing up at your gym, a stranger attending a small gathering you're at, or even someone lurking near your workplace without an apparent reason. These unexpected appearances, especially if they become repetitive, can be unsettling and signal something more sinister. Don't dismiss these occurrences as mere coincidences, especially if the person seems out of place or tries to downplay their presence. Pay attention to their demeanor. Are they overly interested in your conversations, or do they seem to be observing your movements? In today's digital age, our phones are extensions of ourselves, connecting us to the world and the people in it. But what happens when those connections turn creepy? Strange communications, whether through calls, texts, or social media, can be a telltale sign that someone is invading your privacy and potentially following your every move. Have you been receiving calls from unknown numbers, especially at odd hours? Are you getting text messages with cryptic content or threats? Or maybe you're noticing unfamiliar profiles interacting with your social media posts, leaving unsettling comments or messages. These unwanted communications can be deeply unsettling, making you feel vulnerable and exposed. It's crucial to remember that you don't have to tolerate this invasion of your privacy. Document everything, save the messages, note the times of the calls, and take screenshots of suspicious online activity. Don't engage with the unknown. Avoid responding to messages or answering calls from unfamiliar numbers. Block suspicious profiles on social media and report any threatening behavior to the respective platforms. If you feel threatened by these communications, contact the authorities immediately. It's natural for people to be curious, but when someone takes an excessive and unwarranted interest in your life, it's time to raise a red flag. This intrusion into your personal space can be subtle at first, but it can quickly escalate into something more sinister. Have you noticed someone asking too many personal questions about your routine, your work, or your relationships? Are they overly interested in your whereabouts, constantly asking about your plans or who you're with? Do they seem to know things about you that you haven't shared, like details about your family or your daily activities? It's crucial to trust your instincts and set boundaries. You are not obligated to share personal information with anyone who makes you feel uncomfortable. Be cautious about what you share online, especially on social media. If someone's persistent questioning and intrusive behavior make you feel threatened, don't hesitate to contact the authorities. Imagine this: you're walking down the street and you notice someone behind you. You cross the road and they cross too. You change direction and they follow suit. This persistent presence, a shadow that seems to cling to your every move, is a clear sign that someone might be following you. It's one thing to briefly cross paths with someone, but it's entirely different when they seem determined to stay within your vicinity, no matter how many times you try to shake them off. This relentless pursuit can be terrifying, making you feel trapped and vulnerable. Pay close attention to their behavior. Do they maintain a consistent distance like they're trying to remain unnoticed? Do they avoid direct eye contact, preferring to observe you from a distance? If you find yourself in this situation, trust your instincts and take immediate action. Don't hesitate to call 911 or scream for help if you feel threatened. Personal space, we all have it and we all value it. So, when someone invades that space without consent, it sets off alarm bells. Physical proximity, especially when it's unwanted and makes you feel uncomfortable, is a major red flag that someone might be too close for comfort. Imagine this: you're standing in line at the grocery store, and the person behind you is practically pressed against you, even though there's plenty of space. Or you're on a crowded bus, and someone is deliberately brushing against you, making you feel uneasy. These unwanted physical encounters can be subtle or overt, but they all share a common thread. They make you feel violated and unsafe. It's crucial to trust your instincts and assert your boundaries. Don't be afraid to speak up and tell the person to back off. If they ignore your request or become aggressive, remove yourself from the situation immediately. Social media has become an integral part of our lives, connecting us with friends, family, and the world at large. But this digital landscape can also be a breeding ground for stalkers, who lurk in the shadows, meticulously tracking our every move. Have you noticed unfamiliar profiles consistently liking or commenting on your posts, even old ones? Are you receiving friend requests from people you've never met, or who seem to have an uncanny knowledge of your life? Do you feel like someone is constantly monitoring your online activity, knowing when you're online and what you're doing? It's crucial to be vigilant about your online presence and take steps to protect your privacy. Review your privacy settings on all social media platforms, limiting the information you share publicly. If you suspect you're being stalked online, document everything. Save messages, take screenshots of profiles, and note any suspicious activity. Conversations are the building blocks of relationships, but when someone bombards you with personal questions, it can feel less like friendly curiosity and more like an interrogation. This relentless probing into your life, especially when it's unwarranted and makes you uncomfortable, is a red flag that someone might be trying to gather information about you for nefarious purposes. Imagine this: you're at a social gathering and someone you barely know starts asking you about your work schedule, your daily routine, or your relationship status. They seem overly interested in your personal life, asking questions that feel invasive and inappropriate. It's crucial to trust your instincts and set boundaries. You are not obligated to answer personal questions, especially from people you don't know well or trust. Be evasive and deflect their questions. If someone's persistent questioning makes you feel threatened, trust your gut and remove yourself from the situation. In the age of smartphones and social media, it's easy to capture moments and share them with the world. But this accessibility to photography has also opened the door for a creepy and invasive trend: unauthorized photography, where individuals are secretly photographed or filmed without their consent. Imagine this: you're walking down the street and you notice someone pointing their phone at you as if they're taking a picture or video, or you're at the gym, changing in the locker room, and you catch a glimpse of someone holding their phone in a suspicious manner. These violations of privacy can be deeply unsettling, making you feel violated and exposed. It's crucial to remember that you have a right to privacy, and no one has the right to photograph or film you without your permission. If you notice someone taking your picture or video without your consent, confront them directly. If they refuse or become aggressive, note their appearance, take note of any identifying details, and report the incident to the authorities. Remember, your safety is your responsibility. By staying vigilant and aware of your surroundings, you can significantly reduce the risk of becoming a victim. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't hesitate to take action to protect yourself. If you genuinely believe that someone is following you, or if you feel threatened in any way, contact the authorities immediately. Thank you for watching. We hope these tips have empowered you to stay safe and aware.